know him, star him. He is a fascist dictator. He has a group of followers known as the Black Shirts that will rule using threats, using bribes, using mostly negative types of reinforcement to make sure they get what they want. And they pretty much say that we need to do whatever's necessary to make sure that Italy becomes a world power like they once were. Now, the third Axis power, because there's only 3, the third Axis power is Germany. Most everybody knows that we're talking about Hitler as the new leader in power. Same thing for Germany. They were once a top dog. They were once a world power. They were once on top. And after World War I is over and they crumble to pieces, they're all looking for the chosen ones, so to speak, to bring Germany and restore them back to their original place in the world as being a world power. And they just want somebody that's going to give them a reason, like someone or something to blame as to why Germany is struggling. And that's exactly what Hitler does. Hitler gives everybody what they want. He gives them not only something, but someone and multiple someones. So this is where he starts kind of slowly pumping out what will later become his final solution plan, which will turn into what we know as the Holocaust. The Holocaust is kept very quiet, very under wraps. There is actually documentation that people in Germany didn't know until it's revealed towards the end of the war what was actually going on. And some people say, I don't know how that could be true, but you know the saying that ignorance is bliss, that sometimes you would rather just not know just because you didn't know if you'd be able to do anything about it if you did know. And everybody kind of in survival mode. Wow, aren't we talking about what's happening right now? I feel like we're all in survival mode. I'm not going to lie. Let me tell you a story. Went to Walmart the other day because I needed some basics. And everybody was like eyeballing everybody else. Like, we're all going to become zombies in about 5 seconds. And it's like a zombie apocalypse. It's so crazy. It's like a really weird feeling. You know what I'm talking about if you've been out and around. And towns looking like ghost towns right now. It's crazy. But anyway, we're going to get through this. So we can compare that to what's going on in Germany. And everybody just wants to keep their eyes down, keep their nose out of everybody else's business, and just worry about their family, their friends, and nothing else. You know, whatever everybody says, okay, we'll go with it just because we don't want to be the ones in trouble, right? So when Hitler comes to power and his Nazi party comes into power, this happens early 1930s, and he will maintain power through the same way that Benito Mussolini and Italy are, through threats, through bribes, through negative reinforcement. And again, he's trying to give people a reason as to why Germany's in the situation that they are. So he takes over. His Nazi party is also known as the brown shirts. And that's why when they talk about Italy and the black shirts, Nazi party and the brown shirts, it's talking about the color of their uniform as another nickname. You know how during the American Revolution we called the British the redcoats because of their color of their uniform? Well, that's why. So the Nazi party comes into power with Hitler. He's able to keep and maintain power. Almost like he's, what's the word? Trying to, I can't think. I'm sorry. Like mind control people, you know? He tells them what he thinks that they want to hear, and they're just so scared that they believe whatever he says. All right, and last but not least, we have to talk about Russia. Now, Russia is a little bit different situation because they are still with the Allies. So if you say, you know, you've got your list, Axis powers, Japan, Italy, Germany. Sorry, having many seizures. I don't know what's happening. And then you got Allies, still got Great Britain, France, Russia, and then you know the U.S. will join later on. Very similar to how we kind of hesitated during World War I. We were pushed into it. Same thing. We hesitate during World War II. We get pushed into it way bigger than last time. Russia is controlled by Joseph Stalin. So make yourself a note of that. Here's the crazy part. A lot of people don't realize, and it kind of gets pushed under the rug, that Stalin was just as bad of a bad guy, if not maybe even worse in ways, than Hitler was. Stalin also had concentration camps that were up. He had purges. Purges are very much a real thing, not just in movies. But Stalin was purging people. Anybody that disagreed with what he had to say and what his Communist Party had to say, they weren't heard of. After that, anyway. So he did have 5 million of his own people that were sent to labor camps. Food was rationed. Industrial centers were set up. Again, eliminating through purges any threats to his power. So again, I think a lot of this just kind of got pushed under the rug and didn't get looked at until towards the end of the war. But here's an interesting thing. Fun thought for today. Did you know that Stalin and Roosevelt actually were pretty close friends? I mean, I think if Roosevelt had really known what was going on with all of the purges that were happening in Russia, obviously their friendship would have been, well, not a friendship, but anyway, just food for thought for today. All right, so we're not going to go too much further because I know I had a lot to say for today. So we'll go to the next slide and I'll continue tomorrow. Again, STAR, Kellogg-Briand Pact. We know that it was supposed to outlaw war. We had 64 countries that signed it. That's going to go out the window pretty quickly as soon as everything gets going in Europe. So again, it starts in Europe first, and then Japan invading China starts in Asia, 1937. We have the Hoover-Stimson Doctrine, which refuses to acknowledge any land taken by force. So Hitler, and again, I'm going to reference scary movies again, kind of reminds me of this black fog that starts leaking out everywhere. Anytime in a scary movie you see black fog coming, you know nothing good is coming behind it. And so he comes really slow. And so it's almost like, you know, he's looking to see who's watching him and what he's doing. And all the land that was taken from Germany at the end of World War I, he starts going back and taking. And he takes this piece of land, and this piece of land, and this piece of land. And he's watching to see who's going to say something and who's going to stop him and how fast somebody's going to jump on this. And so as this is going down, here's the steps that take place. So 1936, Hitler starts having Germany ramp up its rearmament. I mean, he basically takes the Treaty of Versailles and tears it and rips it to pieces, maybe even uses it for toilet paper, I don't know. But he destroys it and starts pumping out weapons and whatever else is needed. He takes the Rhineland, which is that land on the border between France and Germany. He takes it in 1937. Sorry, making sure I get my dates right. And then Austria and Czechoslovakia are next. He starts, again, taking these little chunks of land all around Germany, what used to be part of Germany. And then Winston Churchill is going to, wait a minute, this is before Churchill comes into play. Sorry, let me back up for a second. The Munich Peace Conference takes place to where the British Prime Minister and leaders sit down with Hitler, and they pretty much like pop him on the hand and say, no, 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 don't you do that no more. Don't take any more land. So they're going to appease, and make sure that you know what appeasement is. I'm pretty sure it's part of your IDs. Appease means to try and make happy or compromise. So they're like, all right, here's what we'll do. If we let you keep what you've already taken, but you promise not to take any more land, right? It's kind of like, stop it, bad, 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 right? So he says, all right, if I promise not to take any more, then you can keep what you have. And so Hitler's like, yeah, sure, no problem, right? I mean, why wouldn't he say that? He probably had like his fingers crossed behind his back the whole time. But he said, yeah, no problem, sure. And so he agreed not to take any more lands. And so they're like, all right, good, war averted. No. All right, we're going to stop there for today.